All right, this video is going to be a little bit different. If you've been following us along and you've been watching our videos, you'll know that as well as building cars, we do guided tours to the USA. When we go there, we drive people around. We take care of everything. But we also get that people want to do it themselves. Maybe they don't want to be with a big group of people and they just want to check out their own things. So what we've done is this compilation is basically the top 10 things in LA. It's not everything. There's tons of other stuff you can do. In the video, I'll mention a couple of websites you can check. But this is the top 10 essential things I think you should do if you are a car guy. So check it out. Like I've put the names of the stuff there. You can hit Google. All that stuff. It all comes up on Google Maps, all that sort of stuff. Everything's easy to get to. So check this out. Enjoy it. And hopefully you get some information and you can get around LA and check out some cool car stuff. So the first one we're going to talk about is the Zimmerman Automotive Driving Museum. It's a great little museum, not very far from LAX in El Segundo. Pretty good little setup, a really mixed bag of cars. There's sort of some pretty oddball stuff there, which is pretty good to see. It's not a very big museum, but still pretty cool. It's only like $15 from memory to get in. One of the things was quite a number of the cars, not all cars, you can actually sit in. Obviously, you can't start them, but that's just something a bit different that you don't see at many museums. And if you've got time, literally 2 or 3 minutes around the corner, Mattel HQ is there. You can sort of drop around there. And there's a couple of cars and bits and pieces and the Mattel store, but the Zimmerman is worth checking out. That's the first one we'll talk about. Right. The next one that's worth checking out is the Nethercutt Museum and Collection. So there's 2 parts of it. The first part is a free to go into sort of collection, mostly veteran and vintage, sort of a lot of Cadillacs and coach built stuff, which is really interesting to see. You then can also pay, I think, same thing, it's like $15, and across the road, there's a whole bunch of other cars and a whole different collection of things. The building is amazing inside, and as an added bonus, there's an amazing music room with lots of automated classic musical instruments and pipe organs and that sort of thing. Mind-blowing. So definitely worth checking out. It's a little bit further out, like if you're in central LA, but worth the drive. So yeah, that's another one. And yeah, if you can get to this one, definitely worth checking out. Now, Justice Brothers Racing is more of a private collection, I would say. It's owned by the family of Ed Justice. You can go to the address. It's Duarte. I know I'm pronounced that incorrect, but just look at the spelling at the start of the video and you can find it. It's a pretty interesting collection. A lot of speedway stuff, a lot of vintage speedway stuff, but then there's drag racing stuff and there's some Ed Roth things and some hot rods and that sort of stuff. Great little visit. It's free. You just need to go to the address when you pull up. You have to buzz into the front counter. They'll let you in, explain how it all works, and you can go through and have a look, and it's absolutely free and definitely worth checking out, and not that many people tend to go there. So this is the first of the kind of weekly car meets that we'll recommend you try and visit. If you go onto a website called SoCalCarCulture.com, there's a whole bunch of car meets listed and all sorts of things listed by the day and the date and everything. You can check that out. The only thing we recommend is if it's listed as being at a venue, ring the venue first to make sure the car shows are still going, because that can be out of date. And obviously you've also got to check how far you've got to drive. But this one here is the Bob's Big Boy Diner, or I think it's broiler, could even be technically. It's a hamburger joint. But make sure you go and look for the one in Burbank, because there is one in Downey as well, and they don't do the car show anymore. So this is on Friday night, every Friday, rain, hail or shine. In LA, it doesn't rain that often, so you're generally okay. In summer, you would normally get there, I'd say 4 o'clock. In summer, at 7 or 8 o'clock at night, there's still people hanging around, there's still cars coming through. In winter, you can probably get to 6:37 and it starts to thin out a little bit. There's always stuff to see. As you can see in these pictures here, you just don't know what's going to turn up here. Race cars, hot rods, classics, Jay Leno's spotted there. Celebrities like turning up there. It's a really cool thing. If you want to get there and have a burger inside, I would recommend you maybe get there a little bit earlier. Try and get there at 4 o'clock. Go straight in, have your burger. Great feed. And then you can come outside and check out all the cars as they pull in and out and they drive in and out. And always a great event and a must-do if you're in LA. One of the most iconic places you can visit while in Los Angeles is the Moonis headquarters, or Moon Equipment Company, based there in Santa Fe Springs. The shop has been there since 1957, maybe even a little bit before that. The bright yellow building and the eyes logo is very synonymous with car people, whether they're in drag racing or speedway or hot rods or whatever. Everyone knows it. It's such an iconic thing. You can certainly drop in and visit the shop anytime. It's open 8 to 5 during the week, and I think they even open Saturdays. If you're lucky, Chico will take you through and you might see some of the metal spinning getting done. They still spin the tanks and the discs and everything on site. Definitely worth checking out. Great bit of history. The shop itself's only pretty small, but they've got tons of gear in there. So if you're in LA, you definitely have to check out Moonis USA in Santa Fe Springs. if we're going to be talking about iconic speed shops, then you've got to go to the SoCal Speed Shop. Now remember, these guys relocated in 2023, so they are now located in the San Dimas area, not in, they used to be in Pomona, I think it was. So just remember that when you look it up. Nice little shop, lots of merch. They still sell all the different bits and pieces they used to do. Been around for a long time. Originally started in the early 50s, I think it was, by Alex Exedius, then taken over and revitalised by the Shapuris family in the 90s, and has built up from there on. Now what they've got is, when you go out to the facility, as well as the parts and the bits and pieces and the memorabilia and lots of history, there's a cool little bar area, and they also do vehicle storage. Now in this vehicle storage is some really well-known and very iconic cars. You'll see Limefire, you'll see a couple of the SoCal Speed Shop cars, you'll see Pete Shapuris' personal cars, all worth checking out. You can definitely drop in and check it out. So San Dimas is a really nice little spot. Just around the corner, there's a couple of great little places you can get something to eat. So yes, definitely worth a visit. Just remember the new location, because I did hear a couple of other people trying to get there and going to the old location. So remember, San Dimas, SoCal Speed Shop. Now, as an added bonus, if you're in the area checking out the SoCal Speed Shop, literally 2 minutes around the corner, you have the Early Ford store in San Dimas. That's where the little couple little cool lunch bars are. Nice little shop, really, really cool little place, worth visiting. Just drop in for 5 or 10 minutes and just check out the history in this place. The NHRA Museum out in Pomona, in front of the Fairplex. Very, very good museum. Lots and lots of history on drag racing and a little bit of land speed stuff, but mostly around the drag racing, top fuelers, vintage drag racing, gases, all that sort of stuff. Lots of cars that you would have seen racing back in the day, all restored and displayed. They do have a little car show. It's the first Wednesday of the month from 4 p.m. onwards. It's usually really good in the summer months. I haven't been there in the winter, but I'd imagine it would still be a very, very good thing. Definitely worth checking out. And if you time it right, there's usually other events on at the Fairplex, like if it's Grand National Roadster Show or something like that. A must do, if you're into your drag racing stuff in Los Angeles. The most famous and probably the most well-known weekly car show in Los Angeles, I think, would be the Donut Deric show in Huntington Beach. It's every Saturday morning at a little shopping centre. So it's early. You need to be there 6:30, because by 8:30 it's all over. That's the deal they have with the shopping centre. The shop's open at 9, so they want all the car show guys gone by 8:30 roughly. So it's an early start. Get yourself down there and check it out. Once again, it can be all over the shop. You'll see all sorts of different cars. There'll be classics, customs, drag cars, hot rods, celebrities. Last time we were there, first time we saw a Cybertruck. Anything can turn up. It is really early. I'm going to be honest, the coffee's not real good at the donut shop, but there's a Starbucks across the road, but the donuts are really good. So grab yourself a donut, walk around, enjoy the atmosphere. It's really laid back. Always a good turnout. I reckon there's normally 200 or 300 cars. Even in winter, we went only a couple of weeks ago, middle of winter, even though it was the day of the Grand National Roadster show, so it was a little bit quiet, there was still a couple hundred cars. It's definitely got to be done. Make sure you get there Saturday morning, every Saturday morning from 6:30 in Huntington Beach. Now, this is probably my personal favourite museum. This is the Lions Automobilia Museum. Starting out, it's a fairly new museum, really. It only started in 2004. We first went there, I think, in 2019, so just BC, before COVID. It's mind-blowing. Like, we didn't know what to expect. We didn't know much about it. We just got told, hey, you should go check this out. The Moonis Dragster was there for a while. We got there and we're just simply blown away. There's so much to see at this place. There's tons of Chevys, there's Mopars, there's all the off-brand mark stuff, and a huge collection of Willys, which is, like obviously part predating the Willys Jeep and that. I think it's the biggest private collection of Willys, every make, model, year, everything like that. Then, of course, you go in and they've got the Hollywood movie cars. So there's a whole bunch of Hollywood movie cars, but what's good here is they've got all the backdrops, they've got the cinema set up, You can see in the background, you've got all the little speed shops and the little, little sort of shops and everything set up. But then when we go through in just a second, then you go through to the drag racing part, and then now there's a whole land speed part and everything. But all these walls, all the walls and everything are all hand-painted murals. Thousands of hours put into this. Thousands. It is something to see. The collection here is almost as good as the NHRA Museum. Probably not quite as big, but it's mind-blowing. Just check this out. Have a look at all this, the way they've set it all out. You must try and get to this museum. From memory, it is open Wednesdays 1 till 3, and then on Saturdays it's 10 till 2. You'll have to just check it up, but type it in, Lines Automobilia in Carson. Definitely worth checking out. Off the top of my head, it's around $20 to get in. It is so good. If you need to see more, we've got full videos once again. Like if you go back through our videos, you can see some more of them and see a bit more, but you've got to go there in person. You've got to check it out. Now, I guess this is almost regarded as the crown jewel, the Peterson Museum. Now, it's kind of split into two now. You've got the main 3 floors of the museum, so ground level up is all your normal display. So there's movie cars and hypercars, and like it changes around. So basically there's hundreds of different cars, and the levels above chop and change around a fair bit. They might have a particular display by like a particular collector. You know, the Bruce Myers, they've had James Hetfield from Metallica. Like they would just have a room with 10 or 12 of their vehicles displayed. That's been the case for a while. Now, the vault's been there for a long time, but it used to be that only special guests went there. Whereas now you can basically go there, you pay, off the top of my head, it's like $20 to get in for the normal part of the museum. It's another $35 or something like that to go down into the vault. It's worth doing the vault. It used to be only set times. Now you just pay your money. You can go in and wander through when you want. There's so much good stuff in the vault. Not as well displayed, obviously, as you can see here. This is the vault that you're seeing here. But because they chop and change the cars around, they might not be up in the main part where they're displayed and you can fully walk around them and they've got all the information that you want. They'll just put them downstairs in the vault, and you can kind of walk up and look at them. You can't walk in between them, but they're still there. And then some of the stuff now, they have information in front of the vehicles. There's so much different stuff to see at the Peterson, no matter what sort of cars you're into. Hot rods, Volkswagens, classic cars, customs, lowriders, vintage race cars, classic cars, coach-built cars, one-off cars. Of course, the main one that you'll see come up in a second, the one of the most famous ones is the round door Rolls. The only one in the world, of course, so it's almost priceless. There is lots and lots to see. So the Peterson itself is in almost downtown Los Angeles. It's literally just up the road from the La Brea tar pits and not too far from Burbank. So you could sort of, if you were good enough, you could go to the Peterson, check that out. You probably allow yourself 3 or 4 hours to do that. And then you could go up to Bob's Big Boy and do that on the Friday night. Heaps of things to do, and definitely worth checking out the Peterson Museum. So that was the 10. Now I'm going to throw in a couple of extras if you can time them correctly. Pomona swap meet, if you can time it, you're going to have to hit Google, look for the dates. It's once a month. I can't remember. It's like the second Sunday or something like that. It's like there's a huge amount of sellers. There's 1,000 cars on display. There's heaps of cars for sale. It's worth getting there. You need to be there pretty early. Once again, it's 6 a.m. start out at the Pomona Fairplex. But if you can time it correctly, definitely worth trying to check out a Pomona swap meet. Another bonus one, once again, if you can time it correctly, I think it's the third Sunday of every month. it used to be called the Quarantine Cruise. Then they changed it to Cruise and PCH with a Q at the front. They tie it all in. Basically, very similar to Donut Derelicts. Super early start. Get there about 7 o'clock. They meet in Costa Mesa. We've only managed to stumble across it once. There was like 800 or 900 cars. You name it, it was there. It was absolutely full on. They were there. We got there about 7:30. They all started driving out about 9:30. Sort of same deal as Donut Derelicts. The shopping centre said you can use it up until 10. After that, you've got to go. But they're all pulled out, so they all pull out onto the freeway and everything, and then they go cruising PCH, which is the Pacific Coastal Highway. You have to go on Instagram, join up on their Instagram page, and check the spelling, which is QRUISINPCH. Join that. It'll tell you when the next dates are, and then I think you have to message them or something like that, and then they'll give you the address of where it starts. Definitely worth checking out if you can time it right. All right, well, I hope you enjoyed that video. I hope it's of some use to some people. As I say, it's not everything, but I think it should give you a pretty good insight of the best things to do in Los Angeles anyway. I mean, obviously you can go out to Nevada and San Francisco. There's tons of stuff. Our guided tours, we control, we do everything. We drive you around, we stick you in the van, we do the whole lot. See promotions on Facebook and Instagram. You can check it out. It doesn't matter where you are in the world. You just need to get yourself to LA on the date we start. You can be American, Japanese, Swedish, Australian, doesn't matter. If you want to join us, we take care of everything. Or, as I've shown you in this video, jump in the hire car, go do it all yourself. If you like what we're doing, hit like, subscribe, all that sort of stuff. Thanks for watching.